Lord, we come before you this afternoon, oh God. Just want to thank you, Lord, for another day. Thank you for your goodness and all your mercy, oh God. Lord, we give you glory this afternoon. We give you honor. We give you praise, oh God. Bless the minds of your peoples in this setting, oh God. Cover us with your blood, oh God. Lift us with your love, oh God. Give us an understanding of your word to move, oh God. Let sweet communication abide in here, God. Let your spirit dwell in here, God. Cover us, God. Lift us, God. Encourage each and every one of us, oh God. As we make decisions for this city, oh God. Give us a heart of love and understanding for each other. These and all blessings in your son Jesus' name. Amen. Praise God.
Let's face the flag. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Miss City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mayor McClinton,
Present.
City Attorney Stevenson,
Here.
City Treasurer Martin,
here.
Councilor Cat, Councilor Croom,
Here.
Councilor Harris, Councilor Holt,
Here.
Councilor Hutchinson,
Here.
Councilor Mundy,
Here.
Councilor Murray,
Here.
Councilor Pulliam,
Here.
Councilor Robertson, Councilor Willis.
Present. With a quorum being present, 10 out of 10. First, I want to introduce our newest city councilman for Ward 4, Position 2, Mr. David Murray. You want to add anything?
No, I just want to say that I count it as a blessing to be here, and I thank God for this opportunity. And thankful for our mayor and his council for welcoming me. And my idea is to try to do the right thing for all of West Memphis. I'm excited about what I've heard, what I've seen so far. There's a lot of work to do, but I know we are going to get it done. So I can only think of a better place or a better time than right now to begin. Thank you.
We had no bid openings. We got one presentation that we're going to give today. I think this is a unique person that we're going to honor today, and I think everyone that's sitting on this council is truly a unique person that gives a lot to this community. The actions and works of this individual that I'm looking at has done a lot for our community. So as I get ready to bring up a special person to introduce it, Ms. Miller, Councilman Hutchinson, will you come forward, please?
Very quickly, before I call the person that we are giving this award to today, I'm learning as I've served here on council and even as I do work in the community, that when we do things from the heart, it lasts, it matters, and what's from the heart oftentimes reaches the heart. So this particular person that I asked Mayor McClinton to acknowledge today, she does things from the heart. And I think we can all agree that she's consistent in serving and doing for all, not just one sector, but all. And that's Ms. Lorraine Robinson. Can you come up for just a second?
My goodness, I'm floored. I love giving out. I don't.
Ms. Lorraine, you have always given from the heart. A lot of people don't know. When I was in 10th grade, I was high school and I was a teenage mother. Ms. Lorraine kept my child so that I could continue going to school and be better and do better. And now it's just an honor to even sit beside her and work with her. I thank you. Keep West Memphis beautiful. You have done such a wonderful job and you believe in it and you believe in people. You do it from the heart. So we just wanted to tell you today, thank you. It means so much to me for everything that you do. We thank you.
Had no idea I would be getting one of these. I'm I'm very shy. When it comes down to receiving, I can give about all day, all year. But when it comes down to receiving, I'm very, very shy. Whatever I do, it's not of myself lest I should boast, but it is by the grace of God. And I do everything that I do because I love. I have 5 children. I was married to one man for 40 years. And I just learned consistency. I've learned patience. I've learned endurance. I've learned not to complain. I've learned hard work. I was from a family of 12 children, my mother and father. We were farmers. We worked in the cotton fields. I chopped cotton. I picked cotton. I used an outdoor toilet. So I'm from a very humble beginning. I went to a segregated school, and to be able to serve on such a council body with whites and blacks working together, not just on the council body, but all through the community. Everywhere I go, it's not you're black, you're white. Hey, Miss Lorraine, this. So I thank you, City of West Memphis, for allowing me to serve you all of these many years. Only God knows how much longer it will be. It may be my last one today. I don't know. But as long as He gives me the strength, the stamina, and the endurance, I plan to serve you to the very best of my ability all over the City of West Memphis. Thank you all so much, American. I raised him.
May I say something, Mary? And she does. She went home and got her lawnmower Saturday for us to cut a yard. And I told her, I said, we need a riding lawnmower, not a push. But I enjoy working with her.
I thought I spoke on behalf of our entire council when I said that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson.
Okay.
Yes. Next would be, did we have any problems or correction with the minutes? I was given an extra copy of it, so it's corrected. Okay.
Motion to approve this minute, sir.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We're gonna go to old business, Mr. City Attorney, for the third reading.
Third reading of an ordinance to abolish ordinance 2124 regarding the collection of material other than garbage and to abolish ordinance 789 regarding removal of construction debris.
I get a motion and a second to approve.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mayor, really, I want to make an amendment to that, on the trash bag. I know we said clear bags, and there's a reason for the clear bag. But at the same time, as long as they got the heavy duty bags, to me, I think, that would work, as well.
It's changed, though.
We changed it.
It changed
Y'all
to the
changed
black
it?
bag.
Yes, it's changed.
It changed to the black bags.
Okay, I just want to make sure it was in there. Okay.
It's in this one.
Mr. Mayor,
Sure, go ahead. Mr.
I do
Councilman.
not, I'm not ready to see this amendment to go forward, but until we make one more change in it, and that is to have to do with multi-dwelling rentals, that we do curbside pickup for those people, because those people pay a trash fee every month, their utility bill. And if we're not gonna pick up, we're gonna exclude multi-dwelling apartments and multi-dwelling this, I think we're excluding part of our citizens that pay for this service, and they're not gonna get it. So I think that, I know we had said in the pre-council that we would go back an amendment possibly, but I think that it will be tabled and it would be put out of your mind, and we'll go with the ordinance as is. So I have some reservations about the ordinance myself.
Any further discussion?
Again, I apologize, I wasn't at the last 2 council meetings, so I'm a little confused. I mean, I assume that if I live in a duplex and it's a, rental property, and I'm mowing my own grass and I'm putting my bags out on the street, they're gonna get picked up. If I put anything on the street, it's gonna get picked up. Now, if it's, I move out and the landlord, or I just threw it out on the street, or the landlord poured it to the street, you're right, the city should not pick that up. But normal, every day, I would assume it's covered in here, it's not a problem.
Well, the examples that were brought up in the pre-council meeting was these family housing over on Stewart Street and over in, I guess it would be Avalon, where you have numerous apartments in one complex. And that what I heard was that we were not going to pick up any curbside in those 2 areas, or those areas that have multi buildings in those areas.
Yeah, maybe just come up clear this once for all.
Yes. Ms. Mendel, will you come forward and give a brief description?
Could you please clear up any confusion that seems to be about the multifamily prospect?
The multifamily dwelling is when you have more than one person renting from a landowner. So I don't know of any duplexes. I mean, do you have duplexes that mow their own yard and keep up with their own limbs and things of that nature, or
Most single-family property owners who have rentals.
single family? Now, if you're living,
Okay, let me talk about duplex, fourplex, either one. Most landlords expect their tenants to keep the yards in check.
do they mow the yards and keep up
The
with the
tenants are
yards
supposed to, yes, in most
in a
cases.
multi-dwelling?
In most cases, when it's a duplex or a fourplex, somebody, normally not the landlord, will go by there and mow that every week. Now, there may be a landlord here that could address that real quick, but I don't believe they're mowing it. Their tenants are supposed to maintain it.
I mean, myself have lived in actually a duplex, and the person who I was renting from actually had somebody come out and mow weekly. It was not my responsibility to keep up my area. So that's just been my experience. I've lived here for 38 years. So that's something that the city needs to quit taking responsibility for. A lot of times, those people who own these buildings, they just put whatever on the side of the curb. It slows the residential service down. The apartment fee per apartment's cheaper than per resident by $2, and that's essentially the trash fee. But we're still going out there picking up these multi-dwelling apartments when they should be hitting at the residentials that are actually paying for the service.
Now, are we talking about, I don't want to fuss now because I'm so happy, but, but are we talking about once the tenant moves out of the home and they put so much on the curb? Is that what we're
That's
talking?
what's become the issue. Now, this also has become an issue with commercial businesses. I've seen up and down Broadway where they put out limbs. Over there off of South 4th Street, there's multi-businesses that put out pallets, things of that nature, things we should not be picking up with our trucks. So it's not only just multi-dwelling homes, it's businesses, private businesses, things of that nature. They need to find a way to get rid of that.
Ms. Hicks,
Yes, sir.
when we were talking in pre-council, and I had mentioned those apartments over on Stewart,
Right.
and I was told that we weren't gonna do any more curbside pickup over there. And I disagree with that. I think we should be doing curbside pickup. Now, we did stress that if it was remodels, reshingles, or maybe an eviction, that then the landlord may have to go through the expense of getting a tote, which I've worked with some landlords, and they have gotten totes to do the shingles and things like that. That's not the problem. I think the problem is, or the concern is when somebody's renting in a multi-family apartment and they put something on the curb to be picked up, we should pick it up.
Well, the issue is that has been taken advantage of, where it is multiple limbs, where I've had a lot of apartment owners have all their trees cut off and they put them right along the side of South Avalon, where our trucks have to stop and sit there and fill up their whole truck just, to serve that one place, and none of the tenants pay for that service. So how is that fair to slow down, other residents that actually pay for it?
Well, I mean, we're talking about cleaning up our city, and if we don't continue that service and pick it up curbside over in these multi-dwelling homes, rentals, your city's not gonna be cleaned up.
So the city should take on the financial responsibility of a business.
They've been doing it for 20 years.
That's correct. And we haven't grown much either.
Hey, you've set a
Actually-
precedent.
If you go back and read the ordinance, we wasn't supposed to be picking up in the first place. We start doing it. So, anything of it is, and just like Alderman Katz said a minute ago, I agree with the duplex and the fourplex. There's nothing wrong with picking it up at the duplex and fourplex. Like I say, y'all passed this out, and I was here late, and I didn't get a copy of it. But at the same time, I like to amend it, saying the duplexes and the fourplexes, because actually, we covering the move out, so automatically we're already taking care of it. And basically, a lot of the problems come on the move out. in most of the apartments around here, they have dumpsters. They already have dumpsters. So, I mean, I think the fourplexes and the duplexes, I think we still should pick it up because if we're getting away from the clean out, we're gonna be okay. I think we're gonna be okay. And so I like to amend the ordinance to say, I mean, include the duplexes and fourplexes, you know, into it. Because, I mean, technically, they just got a regular kin. I mean, it's not like they got a whole lot, you know, because most of they come from clean outs. If you observe, you know, what's going on. It's from clean outs.
I agree with that.
I like to amend it to, you know, include the duplexes and the,
I'd say any non-commercial property.
Huh?
I just say any non-commercial property.
well, I mean, that's what I was saying. It'll cover that.
Well, council, let me ask you this. We already got a motion in second. Will you all withdraw your motion in second and then make a motion to amend?
I withdraw it, and like I say, that's,
I'll go ahead.
I withdraw it, and like I say, I like to make an amendment to it, to, this ordinance that's saying, I mean, to include duplexes and fourplexes. Because to me, I mean, it's just the same going to their house picking up versus I'm just saying, a huge apartment complex.
Aren't our duplexes and fourplexes, are they not rental properties also?
It's rental property, yes, it is.
So I don't see the difference of rental property is rental property.
Well,
I see a huge difference in what she was referencing.
what we're saying, we're not saying you don't pick up at rental property, because a lot of people say they got rental property. My point that we're trying to make, those clean outs, that's what's hurting, the clean outs.
Right.
Regardless of, if you move out and you clean your house out, whether you rent it or not, I think if it's a clean out, you ought to do it just, I mean, it should be
But-
picked up.
But Councilman Pulliam, that's not what she's saying. She's saying that we're not gonna do any curbside.
I just
pickup.
said we're amending the motion. We're amending to say,
2124 to say.
Yeah.
To
As
say,
long as people are still living
Yeah.
there.
that's what we're doing,
I mean, to say what now?
to include duplexes and fourplexes. Yeah,
What about
multifamily,
what about multifamily rentals?
Councilman Cronin, you speaking on a large apartment complex.
I'm not
right?
talking
That's
about
what I'm
complex.
speaking of, yeah.
Oh.
I'm not talking about complex. They got dumpsters.
Those dumpsters fill up fast.
Well, of course, I mean, you know.
You've been doing it for 20 years.
And that's what's holding us up on
I'm
trash.
putting it in form of motion, so.
I'm seconding.
Okay. Now we can discuss.
Mr. Clerk, will you call the roll for the
amendment.
amendment?
To amend the amendments. Ordinance 2124. Council Cat,
Yes.
Council Cronin,
No.
Council Harris,
Yes.
Council Holt.
Yes.
Council Hutchinson,
Yes.
Council Monday,
Yes.
Council Murray,
Yes.
Council Pulliam,
Yes.
Council Robertson,
Yes.
Council Willis.
The amendment passed 9-1, so it has been amended. Now, for us approving this ordinance 01 and the other discussion.
I make amendment that we approve this ordinance as amended.
Second.
Motion and second. No other discussion? Councilman Cronin, any other discussion?
I'd like for him to call the roll.
Okay.
Call for
Mr.
vote.
Clerk, will you call the roll?
Council Cat,
Yes.
Council Cronin,
Abstain.
Council Harris,
Yes.
Council Holt,
Yes.
Council Hutchinson,
Yes.
Council Monday,
Yes.
Council Murray,
Yes.
Council Pulliam,
Yes.
Council Robertson,
Yes.
Council Willis.
Councilman Cronin, do you want to vote?
No, I'm not gonna vote. I'm gonna go to the work session.
Okay. The reason why I asked, because you abstained, we don't want to come back and ask for who abstained, if they want to
I
vote then.
abstain.
All right, well, that motion passes, 9 yeses and 1 abstention. Mr. Clerk, will you give that ordinance a number?
Ordinance number 2510.
That's 2510. We're gonna move to new business.
May I make a motion, we read R1, R2, and O1 by title only?
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Attorney?
R1 is a resolution of the City Council of West Memphis, Arkansas, certifying local government endorsement of Tennessee Soft Drink Production Company to participate in the Tax Back Program as authorized by Section 15-4-2706D of the Consolidated Incentive Act of 2003.
Mr. Phillips Ferrer, could you give a brief description? I know you did in pre-council, but just for the public's sake.
Council, you all, I'm sure recall, earlier this year, Coca-Cola Bottling Company announced an expansion of their existing production facility here in West Memphis, $35 million expansion, adding 65 new jobs to the community. As part of that negotiations with them, our Office of Economic Development and the state's Office of Economic Development worked with the company to provide certain incentives as we were competing for the project. One of them was the tax back program that's administered through AEDC, Arkansas Economic Development Commission. And this is a standard procedure for these types of business development initiatives. You all have passed them multiple times in the past. And basically what it is it's the state will administer a rebate of or refund of the sales tax that are collected on all or qualifying production equipment as well as building materials that go into the construction of the expansion project. And the lion's share of the taxes that are abated on this come from the state, but the city does have a local portion that would be refunded. And that's essentially it.
Most of the time, it's like the city, in turn, we have to really, it's like compete, really, because if someone else made the offer, other jobs that's coming, economic development, y'all bringing other jobs, we do it all the time.
Right, and again, you get into competitive situations with other. We were competing with Tennessee for this facility, and this was a program, and this whole initiative came from the state of Arkansas through us. And the state requires that we pass the resolution. This resolution is also will be on the county quorum court agenda at this month's meeting for passage as well. And it's again something that we've always done and supported in the past, and asked your consideration for passage of this today. That's essentially it.
And most of the time, just like you said, in terms, we have to really, it's just like competing, really, because if someone else made the offer, then, other jobs that's coming, economic development, y'all bringing other jobs in, so we do it all the time, so.
Right, and again, you get into competitive situations with other, we were competing with Tennessee for this facility, and this was a program, and this whole initiative came from the state of Arkansas through us. And the state requires that we pass the resolution. This resolution is also, will be on the county quorum court agenda at this month's meeting for passage as well. And it's again, something that we've always done and supported in the past, and asked your consideration for passage of this today.
Mr. Sorrell, you may want to mention the maximum that can be refunded. Wasn't it $2,500?
And Frank, correct me if I'm wrong on this. Frank's our finance guy and deals with the DF&A on all of that. But that's my understanding that our 1.5% share of the sales tax has a max count per item of $2,500. Is that correct, Frank?
That's correct, except for construction equipment, material.
Right, but that's on a per item basis, right?
Item basis.
Any further questions? Well, Mr. Clerk, can you call the roll?
Councilor Cat,
Yes.
Councilor Croom,
Yes.
Councilor Harris,
Yes.
Councilor Holt,
Yes.
Councilor Hutchinson,
Yes.
Councilor Mundy,
Yes.
Councilor Murray,
Yes.
Councilor Pulliam,
Yes.
Councilor Robertson,
Yes.
Councilor Willis.
With 10 yes, this is approved. Mr. Clerk, will you get that number, the resolution?
Resolution 2202.
That's 2202. Mr. City Attorney, will you go to R2?
R2 is a resolution to establish the time for the city council meetings.
I get a
Mayor, if I
motion.
may, ask that we amend this before we have a motion to approve.
Okay.
I'd like to ask that the first Thursday to remain at 1 o'clock as we've always had, and then the third Thursday will be at 5.
Do you
I'd
think-
like to see the first Thursday and the third Thursday at 5 o'clock.
You need a motion?
I'm making the motion. I need a second.
Second.
All right, any discussion?
Councilor Cat, do you
Yes.
think that will pose any confusion as far as to our general public, the different times of the month for those meetings?
I'm trying to find a fair balance between community and business. The business community would still rather meet at 1 if at all humanly possible. Allowing the second meeting of the month to be at 5, of course, allows the community to come at either time. But for any businesses that are traveling here, the noon is gonna be better for them catching afternoon flights or whatever to go back home. So the 1 o'clock will work better for the business community.
Well, I agree with you saying in a sense, but at the same time, I mean, you know, citizens, they actually been pushing to have our meeting moved back. But when you look at this as well, I'm almost sure that we're the only one that's holding the council meeting in the daytime. And so, again, you know, a lot of the citizens, and that's one of the things I think few people sitting up here said, you know, I mean, just trying to make it so that the citizen be able to get to the meeting versus taking off. And I think anyone that, especially that's doing business with us, if they have to be here, they'll be here. Now,
Make
that's
it a
just
priority.
That's how I feel. Yeah.
Understand? I'm just trying to find something that
Yes.
works for both parties
Yeah.
involved.
Any further discussion? Well, Ms. City Clerk, will you call the roll?
This is for the amendment,
What do
is
we,
that
what do
right?
we call the roll, man?
This is on the amendment, please.
Amendment.
Oh, okay, all right.
Amendment to ordinance, to the resolution, Councilor Cat,
Yes.
Councilor Coon,
Yes.
Councilor Harris, Councilor Holt,
Yes.
Councilor Hutchinson,
No,
Councilor Monday,
No.
Councilor Murray,
Yes.
Councilor Pulliam,
No.
Councilor Robertson,
No.
Councilor Willis.
The amendment passes.
Mayor, make a motion, we approve as presented then.
So move.
Second.
And discussion about passing.
We're going to, so now what, we're voting now on having one meeting, the
At
first
1
meeting
o'clock.
the first Thursday at 1, and then the third Thursday at 5.
Yes.
Just want to make sure.
Ms. City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Councilor Cat,
Yes.
Councilor Coon,
Yes.
Councilor Harris, Councilor Holt,
Yes.
Councilor Hutchinson,
yes.
Councilor Monday,
Abstain.
Councilor Murray,
Yes.
Councilor Pulliam,
Yes.
Councilor Robertson,
Yes.
Councilor Willis.
We got 9 yeses and 1 abstention. Councilman Monday, did you want to vote?
Yes.
He votes yes, so it's 10. It passes. Ms. City Clerk, will you get that resolution and number as well?
Resolution 2203.
That number is 2203. Mr. City Attorney, 01.
01 is an ordinance granting a special permit use or special use permit for the property located at 825 North College Boulevard, permitting a communications tower in a R1 single-family residential district.
Are you all wishing just to read it once? Have it on the next reading or read it twice?
Mayor, if I can just clarify with Frank real quick. The tower has been before the architect, everybody has signed off on it.
Yes.
I see no reason to hold it up personally. I mean,
Well,
read it twice a day if you
if
want to, but.
If it's okay, they're still supposed to present some additional, we have the
TRC.
opportunity to change up the towers.
Okay, all right.
So,
Is it gonna have, has the airport approved it? I mean, is it gonna be any issues with the,
I'm not sure it has to be, I know I'm not sure the airport has to be,
well, I was just
thought
wondering.
I thought
if
it
we
was
read it one
subject.
time, I mean,
Yeah.
come back.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was subject to approval, through the airport,
Okay, okay.
in the contract, or at least through the National Safety Transportation Board or something. like that.
I thought the FAA had approved it based off the contract the mayor signed a month ago. That was on the
I think
requirement
that's
there was.
Paul, will you come forward real quick?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, council, this matter has been before the planning commission because it requires a special use permit. They looked at it, recommended approval. There was a notice published in the newspaper and the property was posted. didn't receive any inquiries about it. We worked with Kendra at the airport, we being the applicant, and Kendra has reviewed it. And she has sent me a written email. She couldn't be here today because she's on vacation. But the West Memphis Airport, as general manager, she is accepting of anything the FAA will approve as far as tower height is concerned. And right now, the tower height is 107 feet that the FAA has approved. The applicant is asking the FAA to relook at it to get a possible 10 more feet. Again, Kendra said she will be okay with whatever the FAA signs off on, that it will not cause her issues.
Mayor just asked that we just read it one time today until we get clarification.
All right. Permission request, I need permission to sign a lease between AT&T. So moved.
Second.
All right. In discussion, I think finance director explained what we were doing. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? I've been thinking the planning commission recommendations.
Motion approved and submitted.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Committee reports. Councilman Monday, Police Commission.
No, we hadn't. We'll meet, next Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Is that right?
Third Wednesday. The third Wednesday.
It's the third Wednesday? Okay then.
Councilman Holt, Parks Commission. Councilman Crown, Airport.
No, sir.
Councilman Hutchinson, Personnel.
Personnel did meet, Mayor McClendon. We did not have a quorum. So what I would like to do is just report when we have quorum. However, I did want to acknowledge an elite group that was in attendance on yesterday. Council Pulliam, can you just tell me the name again of who that you and both the individuals that represented in the personnel committee meeting yesterday?
ESGR, Employee Guard Support.
Right. So Director Coleman initiated them to be there. We do want them to come back when we have a full quorum so that we can be able to provide the information to the employees in full detail.
Councilwoman Robinson, Public Works.
Yes, sir. The Public Works met yesterday. I'm just going from my scribbles here. We had a very productive meeting on yesterday afternoon at noon, rather. Of course, we talked about the sanitation ordinance. We passed that already. The storm water ordinance, everything is on track. ADEQ audit is on track. Front end loaders on track. Mayor Marco McClinton came to the sanitation department yesterday with plans for upgrading and making the department better, thus making our city better. One of the things that we did institute in that meeting was a grass cutting department, and this would take place, I'm not really sure, maybe next year.
Yeah.
Grass cutting department where the city will be responsible for cutting the lots now, whereas we have bidders cutting these lots. When Mr. McClinton, Mayor McClinton, he proposed we have a grass cutting department, and that should save the city quite a bit of money. I think I've spoken to the city finance director, and there are some things that we may need to iron out in that particular area. We can discuss that at our call meeting right after council today. Also, we're going to have Mr. AJ, he's going to be over the trash department. Reverend Clark will still be over sanitation. Garbage rather. And Ms. Robbie will still be over the dumpsters. The mayor suggested all these changes because he's trying very hard to make sure that our city is going to be clean, and having a person over each one of those particular departments should ensure that our city will be cleaner and stay. Accountability, absolutely. And also, do you want me to talk about the 10 carts, or you want me to wait on that until we discuss it in? The 10 carts at $100 each.
You can.
Right, he talked about getting 10 more carts at $100 each. These are kind of the lift carts, is that right?
Yes.
Not the $500 one that we
No.
discussed the last time. So we discussed that as well. 10 carts, $100 each. Also, we're going to hire a welder.
Yes.
We're going to hire a welder, and that's going to help keep our equipment, dumpsters and things of that nature in good shape. And this will keep us from having to buy so many, because we'll be able to weld them and keep them together. We also talked about the overlay bids. It was awarded to Chris Construction, which is DKB Contractors. They were awarded the overlay bids we approved the overlay bids for them for this particular year. Shady Grove overlay is also a part of that. Recycling is on track. They're out there back on track, taking them to Memphis. We also have a dumpster back, a roll-off in the back as well for people to come and put their trash if they want to. Keep West Memphis beautiful. We had a great cleanup this past Saturday. We had lots of fun. Boy, we did so much work. There were not a lot of volunteers, maybe 25 or 30, which is good. I'm very thankful. We don't have the certificates today because of the time constraint. But Ms. Harris, she was out there mowing the yard. Our new city council member participated, Council Member Murray, and of course, Mr. Wheelis, he was out there participating. Then we had Mr. Wayne Kroom, he was out there participating. Ms. Hutchinson, she came and helped me a lot. Early that morning, I had to hide some things. She helped me hide them because I had to run to the store. We had, of course, the city engineer. She was out there with her hat and everything on, getting her hands dirty. Of course, Miss Patricia, she's a dig down dirty girl. She was out there really getting it. I said, it's time to stop, Patricia. She never wants to stop. And we just did so much work. We had, of course, Miss Marie Head out there. We had a lot of volunteers. They just came. We had one lady who just moved here from Hawaii, and she and Marie Head discovered that they were neighbors, that they are neighbors. So Keep West Memphis Beautiful is not just about cleaning up, it's about meeting your neighbors and knowing who they are. She said she heard about it on social media and just wanted to be a part of the cleanup. And this is what it's all about. We had such wonderful fun. We had young children out there. Miss Marie's kids were out there. Mr. Darren Chrisley, he came in. We had this big yard to mow. I thought I could use my push mower. I'm going to be the brave one and go home and get my push mower. When I saw that big piece of property, I said, no, buddy, I can't do this and all that hot sun, but we got a little bit of it done. And I called Mr. Chrisley, and he stopped everything that he was doing and brought his professional lawn mowing equipment and just did her yard so beautifully. We picked up all the trash and debris and did her yard so beautifully. Wings World was out there, Sunny Wings, and that a group of men were out there. I had 3 of my children out there cleaning, and they're grown people though. Don't think they're little kids. They're in their 30s. And we just had a wonderful time. It should be in the paper. I'm planning to get everybody certificates, and those of you who did not participate and you wanted to, God be willing, you'll have your chance again real soon. So we're all talking about keeping West Memphis beautiful. Mayor McClendon, he's doing a wonderful job. We're going to have young people out there helping. And it's just a concerted effort. The city did not get in this condition overnight, and we can't get it cleaned up overnight. We most certainly want to, and we're working on it as hard as we can. So please be patient with us. Please, I tell everybody, I live on Bettis Street, 204 Bettis, one of the worst looking streets in the city of West Memphis. I cried for a month when I first moved over there because the street was just so bad. But little by little, it's beginning to improve. And I finally accepted, Lord, this is where you want me to be. Now, since I am here, help me make a difference. So citizens of West Memphis, say, Lord, this is where you want me to be, in West Memphis. And since I am here, help me make a difference. So thank you so very much. That ends my report.
Mayor, I have a clarification for Ms. Harris, and I had a question for you. For Ms. Harris, we talked about Wood Street, doing the overlay on Wood Street. They can't do it because I told you the pumping station, the street is settling back and forth, it's going back and forth, and with the water table as high as it is, that's what I was told at our meeting yesterday. They're not gonna do Wood Street. I had told you, cause it was on the list to be done, but they're not gonna be.
So what they gonna do about it? Nothing.
Oh,
What are
well,
they gonna do about it?
once the water table go down, I guess they're gonna do something with it then, once the water table go down. But it's moving, it's going up and down,
Okay.
and it's just gonna, if they lay it on there, it's gonna break up.
Okay.
All right, Mayor, on our grass cutting, are they gonna take care of all the city properties too, like the city
That-
hall? That's what
Yes,
I'm talking
those
about.
things that we wanna look into adding. I know at the airport, I think they need special equipment, so we may still have to bid that out. But yes, we're looking at taking in that as well, because I think, Mr. Finance Director, how much money we spend a year for our civic, building?
Gosh, I have no idea. I had to look at, we got so many different contracts out between Main Street and the parks and the, Gateway, and it's a considerable amount of money.
Okay, so we definitely can save that too. Anything that we can do, we will do.
I just want to mention one more person, and I can never forget her. That's Miss Rhonda Stanridge. She's been with me since the very beginning of West Memphis Beautiful. I can't, if she's not there, if she has to take off and can't be there, I'm gonna cancel.
Councilman Cat, you wanna talk about the announcement?
Well, we got budget report.
Yeah, sure, sure.
As of June this year compared to June of last year, revenue was up $25,407 for the first 6 months of this year. Revenue is up $80,000 compared to this time last year. And in relation to budget, revenues are $4,324 ahead of budget projections. Southland Gaming, again for the month of June, was $28,515 greater than last year. For the year, it's $104,409. And in relation to budget, it's $53,735 ahead of projection. We need to have a budget meeting next Tuesday at 4 o'clock. I would request that all council members please attend. This is the follow-up to the presentation that was made in January. Mayor has made his final adjustments to it, and we need to go ahead and get that approved so we can get it presented to council and get it approved and get it into the payroll system. So if you can make Tuesday at 4 o'clock next week, it'd be fantastic.
Council, I'm sorry, Council, you did pass out the proposed numbers?
I laid one in your chair there before you came in.
I'll get with you after. I'm looking at it. I just want
Okay.
to make sure that
That's a tentative.
it's just
Well-
what we'll be discussing Tuesday.
Yes,
This
ma'am.
is my proposal, rate proposal for our city employees.
This is the mayor's proposal.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
The presentation HR made in January was based off data from the Municipal League Study Analysis Report. And then this is the mayor's recommendation based off of that study.
Councilman Cat,
Yes, ma'am.
are you gonna feed us?
Ma'am,
Are you gonna feed us?
at 4 o'clock, I'll have something here for you.
Let me bring it, I'll take care of it.
Go ahead, sir. I'm not gonna bring you what you want.
Councilman Pulliam,
Are you-
utility?
Well, we've already reported on utilities, but I got A&P.
Okay.
You know, okay. A&P met June 20th at 4 p.m. and the Civic Auditorium hosted like 2 events, totaling 675 guests. The Eugene Wood Civic Center hosted 12 events in June last month rather, 995 guests. And another thing, Nick Coulter, Communication Director, reported that the city new website has been launched on Monday, which is past Monday. Am I correct? Okay. And the website number is www.westmemphis.com or www.westmemphis.ar.gov or www.westmemphis.org. And if anyone is here today and want a copy of this, I can give you a copy of it. He also mentioned that one of the key features of that site is that set up where it said notify me, so that anyone who signed up for this will automatically be notified via text or email when the city has a major announcement, power outage or whatever. So if you want a copy of this, we can get you a copy of everyone that's here. And anyone in the community that want a copy of this, they can come by. I get the city clerk's office and get a copy. That's it. Also, the commission agreed to host the 9th annual Mid-South Great Steak Cook-Off on October the 19th, which will be at the Civic Center. That's it.
Cool. Councilman Willis, Chamber of Commerce.
I wasn't able to make it. I was having an MRI.
Okay.
I missed that.
Councilman Harris. Councilman Murray, did you want to add anything? Well, I just wanted to briefly, just talk about the raises. I really want you all to consider the raises. And these are the raises for our city employees that were neglected to raise last time. And I know that the numbers probably knocked Frank down a little bit, but these, if you approve it, these would be probably the biggest raises you ever gave in West Memphis to our city employees. So I'd like you to consider those. Also,
Well, one thing, I mean, I would like to say, and it's important that we go ahead on and meet them to my forward the budget itself, because, I mean, I know the few people that was mentioned in here, we just want to make sure that we actually have that. I mean, there's a lot of things going on, and we just really need to meet and sit down and see whereas we could really go with this, because I would hate to do something and say, hey, we're going to give you a raise and turn around and have to turn around and lay someone off, because we do have some other things that I really think that we really need to talk about. I'm talking about forward our budget. You know, I'm talking to the finance man. We really do. So hopefully that everyone would attend this budget, because it's important that we do so. Because therefore, I agree, we need to take care of our employees as we have promised. But we need to make sure that we have the money in the coffers in order to do that.
Is this every single employee?
well, you
No, no, no,
remember,
no.
you know, sanitation and other
They
departments
already
already
have
got the raise, and these
Okay.
employees did not get the raise.
Okay,
So
okay.
these was the raise
These
that
are
were
the raises
presented,
that for the individual.
that were
individuals
presented,
that did
yeah,
not.
they didn't get them.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear what we were gonna be looking at, and I can ask other questions later.
But what I like for all of you to be there, because like I said again, when you turn around and look, especially like our fire department, EMTs, paramedics, I mean, really, we're having a problem keeping them as well. So that's one of the reasons why we all really need to sit down and take a close look at this, because again, I've said it before, I would hate to see EMT basic ambulance coming, because they can't do the things that paramedics can do. And our police department as well, we really need to be about our business, all our employees, but the most essential one, we definitely got to take care of them.
Also, I just want to finish up my report is that Monday starts to kick off of our summer jobs program. And it's a success. I mean, I want to first of all thank all of the department heads and everyone that's been involved. I know I probably have words on your nerves a little bit, but I think this is great for our community. You have kids all over our city that's taking advantage of this program, and not only going to earn money for the summer, going to earn conflict resolution, communicating skills, financial literacy, the whole 9 yards. Civil responsibility that's going to help our city move toward the future. And every department head that came in and interviewed on last Wednesday, the council people that came in and helped, it was a delight to have our young people. They looked so great. They were dressed in ties, clothes, looked good, and it was everyone. It wasn't one specific group. It was young women, young men, black, white, wealthy, poor. It was the whole 9 yards. So I'm just proud of West Memphis. I want to thank you all for supporting me in this vision and approving what you all approve. And Southland will be here Monday to make their presentation check as well to the city on behalf of the Summer Jobs Program.
Mayor, I want to commend you on that as well, because you know last year I passed out a resolution from the municipal league with Mayor Smith when he first took over, and they was talking about getting our youth involved in more activities with the city and learning city government. And I really think we need to launch a big push toward that. Of course, I was looking at the National League of Cities website as well. They're looking at the same initiative. So I just think that that's something that we need to really truly get our younger people involved in as well, and help keeping them employed if we possibly can.
Mayor, just one of the things I'm very excited about. I really wish that some of the larger cities would take what you did as an example, because I grew up working, most of all of us grew up working. We understood responsibility of a salary and what we could do with it. I really appreciate you doing this.
Well, one of my good friends, I would say, Chief Bob Powder once said, we got to stop looking at what other cities are doing and start doing it, being the example that other cities start to look at. And these other cities are starting to look at what West Memphis is doing. We have no appointments. Any announcements?
Click public works meeting after council meeting right outside.
And again,
Did,
those other dates for the budget and the police,
Free
could you say that
dispensary.
again, so make sure everybody understands when they're gonna be?
The R2 resolution changing the meeting dates to 1 o'clock and 5 o'clock. Did we say when that was becoming effective?
Next month.
Well, it's figured out.
Was it August or September? It's on.
Yeah.
Begins in August.
Okay, that's what I thought.
First meeting in August.
It says August.
Also, any other announcement? I just want to briefly say that Freedom Fest was a great success. I definitely want to thank A&P, Sanitation, Parks, everyone that played a part in making our Freedom Fest a success. Everyone came out and enjoyed it. We had great music, had fun, and it was a great event. Look forward to making it even better next year. So, Jim Jackson, Tourism Director, thank you and your team for what you all did out there. It was a very good thing for our city. Finally, we have citizen requests. We have Ms. Tobia Fuller be coming forward. Can you name your?
Make a motion right before Ms. Fuller, so when she finishes, we have another individual, because of time constraints, Mayor, with the holiday, came to City Hall and missed that deadline. We're asking that we can give her permission to speak. So can I put that in the form of a motion? I spoke with the council, and it was because we did not advise our people, how we would do things when we are out for a holiday. We changed meetings. So
You putting in the form of motion?
I'm putting in the form of motion to
I
allow
have
Ms.
no
Charlotte
problem
Turner.
with you all.
Okay, to allow her to be added to citizen requests. I make that motion.
Second.
Second. Say it loud so everybody can hear you. Second.
Second.
Councilman,
Oh, we got to comment?
I mean, you got to hear all the.
Is it, I mean,
Because it had to be unanimous vote.
well, you gonna say all in favor, somebody say no, you can call.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Okay, now I'm sorry, now we can go back to this recording.
Ms. Tobia Fuller, come and give your name and your address, and we give you 5 minutes to discuss your concern.
Hello, my name is Tobia Fuller. I live at 717 Auburn Avenue, West Memphis, Arkansas. I've given the council a package on growing in greenhouse. I'm asking for a waiver or variance to the housing code to get permission to put the greenhouse up. And last council meeting, Mrs. Turner showed some pictures of a greenhouse, she said, that was off of Waverly Road. That was my cousin's greenhouse. It's out in the country. I took some pictures of her greenhouse on the outside and took pictures of hers on the inside. Hers is quite larger than the one that I'm going to be putting up. And Ms. Turner stated then that her concern was that the greenhouse is going to be bringing mosquitoes and snakes to the area, enhance that more. And if I handed you out a package from the institution of the University of Massachusetts on their greenhouse growing, which shows that the conditions of a greenhouse cannot be hot and humid. And that, you're growing regular vegetables, and that the ground cannot be saturated with water, and that, you can't grow inside of a greenhouse with a lot of moisture dripping on the plants themselves, because it would cause them to rot. And I showed, even though, her greenhouse is quite large, I have some pictures of the inside where you can see how she's growing and how that the ground is dry. It's regular gardening. It's just shielding your plants, your delicate plants, from the sun rays, so that you can have an extended growing season, and it shields your plants from the cold. The ones that are not tolerant to a lot of cooler weather, so that you can extend your growing season. I don't know if you could pass these out to the council. I also, those about for the greenhouse. Now, I also took some pictures She said that people had started seeing snakes in the neighborhood. My greenhouse is not up yet, so, and the snakes are already there. West Memphis is just known for snakes. I know when I moved here back in '05, that was the thing that they were telling me when we bought the house, is that you had to keep everything cut back from around, because we live right there by a ditch, and that ditch draws snakes. And right next door to Mrs. Turner is a house that had cut down a bunch of trees, and around where they cut the trees at, they let the trees lay in the yard, and they have a bunch of grass growing up, and that wood is rotting there. So if we're having reptile problems, it's probably because snakes do not eat vegetation. I don't know of a snake that eats vegetation, but here's some pictures to show that where it's right next door to her on the other side of my garden, where that could be drawing in the snakes to the area. And here is some pictures of my garden where I'm growing, and I keep, and hopefully Miss Charlotte can verify this, that I keep my garden clean. I keep all the grass and weeds cut down. I keep weeds out of my rows. We're out there chopping every day. It's 3 of us growing out here. Some pictures of one of the ladies that's there. And I try to grow as clean as possible and use very minimal amount of any kind of a chemical. As far as pesticides go, I only use neem oil, which is not harmful to humans. And I use shredded paper. I know I tried it in the beginning with newspapers, and I didn't get it quite right, and that kind of littered the neighborhood. I try to clean it up as much as possible, but since then I've been using the shredded paper, and it's actually good for the ground because it composts back in. And I have pictures just showing the whole area and where the area is where where the greenhouse would be at. For the council to look at. And then I also took a picture of one of the other greenhouses on Waverly Road, and she was talking about the plastic and how that plastic would, over time get wear. And my greenhouse, now through the NRCS, USDA, they have to come with a shade cloth on them for shielding to make sure that your plastic lasts longer. You pass those out. I also went back around to the neighbors that she had said that I had given them the wrong information. I gave them this information, and I showed them these pictures, and I have some statements from the neighbors, from one of the neighbors who actually volunteers in the Memphis Horticultural Society, stating about greenhouses. That, there
Ms.
are
Ms.
not.
Fuller, your time is up. I do want to, right before Ms. Turner come, I really think that right now we're probably putting the cart before the horse, because right now it's not zoned to have that in there. And I think the first thing should have been through planning commission.
Yeah.
And then when planning commission made a recommendation, to come back before the council, and then
Right.
they'll
There's-
decide.
There's
Well,
an
I think
administrative
Turner-
process that you have to go through in order to change zoning, if that's in case what you're
See,
trying.
well, I wasn't trying to get
Well,
the
no.
zoning change. I was just asking.
Well, you have to go through the administrative process, which is typically through the planning commission, and you have to make an application to the planning commission. There usually has to be a public hearing scheduled, because other property owners have the right to voice their opinions about what your plan is. And then after the planning commission reviews the matter, they make a recommendation to the city council, and then the city council either accepts or rejects their recommendation. So until it goes through that process, the city council will not see that until the planning commission makes a recommendation one way or the other. So you have to go through that process first.
Okay.
Ms. Turner. Anything further? Well, I'm going to entertain a motion in a second to adjourn.
Second.
Hold. And I get a motion in a second.
Second.
All in favor, aye? Aye. And then we got Public Works meeting, immediately after this meeting.